All right, welcome back for another video. So as I mentioned yesterday in my last video, I've been planning to do a quick portfolio update because I've had a lot of, friends and so on asking me, where do you sit, this and that. So I just wanted to briefly go through what I hold percentage wise and, kind of explain my thought process behind it all. So as you can see here on the first page, XRP makes up a massive part of my portfolio here at about 38%. Equally, I think pretty much everything else is fairly evenly distributed. Obviously, XRP sticks out like a sore thumb here, but ultimately, I think XRP, at least in the near term, is going to be a very high performer over the next, I would say, year or so. All right, I think it can easily get back to its all-time high, roughly $4. I think more realistically, a price target upwards of $10, maybe even $25, is all possible within the next few years. All right, so ultimately, I think in all of crypto, before I get into this collectively, I think people need to realize, first and foremost, this entire market is speculative. All right, the majority of these projects are not driven. The price action is not driven by utility, not yet. What I think that the reason I think it's like that, to be honest, is we're just held back with regulatory clarity. All right, so once we get a full green light and like it's obvious that it is obvious for people who are in crypto that this is the direction we're moving. But I think once we see that it's obvious to the average person that this is a new asset class, I think that's when you're going to start to see the price action really pick up. So right now, we're all speculating, trying to find the winners. In reality, when I was going through preparing this video today, I started to, it just really started to dawn on me how speculative this market is. Every single, community thinks that they all have the best project in existence, and everyone acts like there can't be any other winners than what they own. But reality is that's like trying to say you only own Amazon stock, and you don't want to own Apple or Walmart or anything else because you own Amazon. Well, why not own both? Like. That's the mindset I think people need to have, because I think eventually a lot of these blockchains and DLTs in general are all going to interoperate. They're going to support each other. A lot of them are going to work together. All right, enough rambling on. Let's go ahead and get into the numbers. So as I showed you here, XRP is a big chunk of my portfolio, and I'm going to leave it that way. I like the number that I have with XRP. And honestly, I actually have the same amount of Stellar. I think that they're both very comparable. Their circulating supply and total supply are designed to be, very similar. So I just hold the same amount of both, because quite honestly, I don't know who's going to win. So I'll just have both. That's my mindset. I realize that, like I said, this is all speculation. So just get used to it at this point. And moving on, so I don't actually own any Bitcoin. So I put this in here so you could see percentage-wise how much Bitcoin exposure per se I have in my portfolio. And as I mentioned, I don't have any Bitcoin. All of my Bitcoin exposure is going to come with Riot blockchain. All right, so I have numerous different assets tied to Riot blockchain. I've invested in Riot in an IRA, as well as I have some options contracts in Riot. So I have options and shares, and it amounts to about 15% of my entire crypto portfolio. So, all right. Next one, as I mentioned, I have the same amount of Stellar as I do XRP. All right. Not much else to say there, other than I do think that both are going to serve a purpose in the future. I think the XRP ledger could be used more for asset settlement, asset transfer, like the DTCC right now is the clearinghouse for moving all stocks and everything like that around the world. I think ultimately XRP could kind of replace that. People say, oh, well, they're trying to target Swift. I don't think so. Swift is going to be out the window regardless. They're outdated technology, and any crypto project can basically replace Swift at this point. They're all faster than it, so even Bitcoin's faster than Swift. So, all right, moving on. I used to have more Ethereum in my portfolio. I've just drawn it back. I think Ethereum's definitely going to see some growth potential. I think it could get up, to 5, 10,000 even before the next peak per se of a bull cycle, whenever that might happen. But yeah, I don't have as much. I feel good where I sit with it, and I'll probably just leave that. As you can see here, I actually have a very decent percentage of cash on the sideline. I have that just in case, something goes sour with the markets because of the election. There's just a lot of uncertainty in markets right now overall. So, yeah, just sitting on some cash and ready to invest it if we get a nice pullback somewhere. I wouldn't mind if we got a sell off because, as I've said over and over, I think that the big bull cycle is going to start next year. I don't know how long it will last. We've seen in crypto up to this point basically 2 and 3 year bear markets followed by 9 to 12 months of bull market. I think once we move into mass adoption that won't continue to happen because you see with the stock market you usually get 6 to 10 years of bull markets and 12 to 15 months of a bear market. So I think we might move more towards that eventually. Obviously, we're not there yet. All right. I also have about 5% of my portfolio in Elastos. I've talked about it plenty of times. I've done some videos on it. You can go ahead and check it out if you want. Ultimately, Elastos is really frustrating me because they keep talking about they have this exchange listing coming for United States customers to be able to access, essentially, but that hasn't happened yet. I'm wanting to see this exchange because I've had the Elastos forever. I've had Elastos since ICO, basically, just sitting in the wallet. I've held strong with the project. I think that they have a great vision and they have built a great working product. They're just really lacking with exchange listings and marketing. So that's a huge turnoff for me. But at this point, I've had it so long that I'm just going to continue to weather the storm. It's, as you can see, it's not a massive part of my portfolio. So either way, I'm not going to be hurting if it went to zero, basically. All right. I also have a decent amount in Tezos and Cosmos. So my exposure to Tezos, so my logic when it comes to speculating this market is I'm not overthinking this stuff. All right. Ultimately, I know that this market is going to be hit with a lot more speculative investing over the next year or so, as I've said, and I think it's going to come to Tezos and Cosmos for one, because they are the only two cryptos that you can get staking rewards on Coinbase. That might be a simple thought process for most people, but at the same time, I honestly don't think that you have to think too hard about this asset class right now. I really would not doubt if you just went in and threw $100 on everything that's listed on Coinbase. I think you would do well in the next bull cycle. It's really like throwing darts. Who's to say who's going to win? It's really hard to tell. But anyway, I had only Tezos, but they added Cosmos staking on Coinbase as well. So I split my Tezos half and half, basically, with the Cosmos. All right, so they're both going to, sit there, and also you can stake Tezos and Cosmos in the ledger as well. I believe. I know you can do Tezos. I'm not sure if you can do Cosmos, but I think that that's going to draw a lot of attention and eyes as new people enter the space. The ability to stake and earn interest. People like that. People like passive income. So I think that, in the next few years, both of those projects will do well. Also, they are good and have money behind them. All right. So moving on, last but not least, I have Nash Exchange. I'm going to continue to keep that staked away. I set them away in a staking contract for 2 years as soon as it was available, and I'm just going to leave that. It hasn't performed well up to this point, but I'm sticking with Nash and their corner as well because they are building a decentralized exchange that is KYC, which I think is going to be important in the long run. Everyone's speculating, oh, we like Uniswap and this and that because it's a DEX, decentralized exchange per se, that doesn't require KYC. But I think that that's going to be the losers in the end, actually. So I don't know. I'm as I'm going to get into more in this video, I'm staying away from crypto projects that are trying to be non-compliant. I think compliance is very key moving forward. So, and sorry, I said last but not least, but that's not true. I also added Hedera Hashgraph, and this screenshot is actually inaccurate because I don't have any Tomo anymore. I actually consolidated all that into Hedera, so I have about 3% of my portfolio in Hedera Hashgraph as well. So the common theme with everything I have decided to move into is that it's all available on United States-based exchanges. At this point, besides Elastos. So, I'm waiting on that because they said that they have an exchange listing coming. It's dragging on forever, but I think it will happen. So, common theme, like I said, everything that I have is on basically Coinbase Pro besides Nash, but Nash is also KYC and working on that on their own. And then Hedera Hashgraph isn't on Coinbase. I think it will be eventually, but it's not right now. And it is on Binance US though. So if you are in the United States, depending on which state you're in, you can buy some Hedera. So, and the reason I decided to do this, I had some stuff scattered around on different exchanges, and then that KuCoin hack happened. I'm not sure if you saw that, but yeah, KuCoin was hacked. So, that was kind of like the last straw for me. Like, all right, I need to get my crypto off all these risky exchanges that might eventually get outlawed, because if you have some money sitting over there on those, and then all of a sudden they, like BitMEX for instance, they get hit with some legal issues in the US, you might not ever get access to that money again. I've tried dealing with regular Binance's customer support as well, and they are pretty much non-existent, non-responsive to my emails I've sent over. So I have consolidated everything to whatever I can store on a ledger or US exchanges. All right, enough rambling once again. I hope that clarifies a couple of my main points, but I wanted to take you over to CoinMarketCap as well and just kind of explore all the different cryptos that I have invested in, and take you to their trading pairs. So this is going to be important when it comes to a bull cycle. You want to have things that are actually listed on exchanges. XRP is listed all over the place. It's one of the most dominant trading pairs, so it's easy to get in and out of your positions. But it's also, I think having all of these different trading pairs and exchanges is going to drive the price eventually. So just knowing that you can sell it or that other people can buy it is going to be an advantage moving forward. All right. Riot blockchain, the reason that I have this is because first and foremost, I think that the Bitcoin mining stocks are going to outperform Bitcoin into the next year. And I would rather own the mining companies than the asset itself because of that and numerous reasons. Riot also has some other investments outside of Bitcoin mining, but they also, up to this point, are the highest. They have the highest hash rate of any publicly traded Bitcoin mining company. So that's very important. They also are one of two listed on the NASDAQ. So it's going to be Riot Blockchain and Marathon Patent. That is it, to my understanding. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. Would be happy to correct myself. But yeah, so Riot is going to be easy to buy on platforms like Robinhood and so on, and that's where you're really going to get this speculative demand from retail, I would say. So being able to buy it on Robinhood is crucial, and you can also buy it, financial advisors can buy Riot on all the other platforms for their clients, this and that. So when the herd comes, I think Riot is going to pump like crazy, and it's going to pump a lot more than Bitcoin, and that's why I have it. So also, as I mentioned, I have Stellar as well as XRP. All right, Stellar has been around for a while now, since like 2014, I believe, as well. Um, as you can see here, they have a lot of trading pairs. People know about Stellar. People are building on Stellar. They have some massive connections, through government entities and so on, just like XRP. So hey, I'm just gonna have both, and I'm just gonna forget about it, basically. So, and then, you'll see the common theme with all these: Ethereum, Stellar, XRP. They have so many trading pairs and exchanges available, and that is going to be important going forward. So, Elastos, oh, really struggling with the exchange listings. I hope to see them get it done shortly. Man, I'm gonna hang in there with them. All right, and then Tezos and Cosmos, they are both proof of stake and have staking rewards available on Coinbase, which I think is crucial, because basically they have Coinbase in their corner. All right, Coinbase wouldn't be letting them do staking options if they didn't want the project to succeed. I think that's one reason why you see something like Cardano is not listed on Coinbase yet. I don't think that's because of legal reasons. I think it's because it competes with Ethereum, and also Coinbase is probably not invested in them. Whereas I think that they are invested in Tezos and Cosmos in some way or another. So don't take that as pure fact. I think I've heard that, over the years. But anyway, I think that the staking option is going to drive the price ultimately. And as I've said, we're all just speculating. Who knows which one of these projects is actually going to win. Nash Exchange, also like this, because you can stake it away and get the dividends paid on their platform. So if you own Nash, right now they don't have any volume, hardly. Like you can see here, what this token itself has traded $35,000 in volume over the day. I think the exchange itself is only getting somewhere around a couple million, maybe 1 million in dollars exchanged. So, it definitely has room to grow and improve, but I think ultimately, being compliant, Nash is the only decentralized exchange that really looks and feels like a centralized exchange. When you go onto the platform, you can hardly tell the difference. And I think that the project that captures the idea of a decentralized exchange and the feel and user friendliness of a centralized exchange is going to be a winner. And right now, Nash is few and far between, or any projects are few and far between that are like Nash as far as that goes. So that's why I like them. And as I just showed you in my video yesterday, if you didn't see it, I'll go ahead and put it here in the upper right hand corner. Just did a quick overview of Hedera Hashgraph. I really like the project's upside potential, simply put, because they have money. All right, they have money behind them. They are owned and operated by companies such as Google and LG. Who else is in there? Boeing and so on. So they got the good employees, the intelligence, the developers, the funding. So I think something like Hedera Hashgraph can definitely see some growth, and it just has a fairly small market cap compared to all these other platforms that perform similar functions. All right, and as I mentioned before, I'm not going to hold anything at this point that isn't on a U.S. exchange, just because I don't want to deal with the time that could come where BitMEX got the hammer dropped on them. Could happen with any of these other ones. Wobi, KuCoin, if they're allowing U.S. Citizens onto their exchange and they're not compliant, I think eventually something bad's gonna happen. So if you have funds on there, be careful, man. All right. What else do I have for you? Yeah, I just went in here. I show you all the different trading pairs over here on Coinbase Pro. and Kraken. They're all very similar. All the U.S. exchanges have almost the same things listed. Um, so, you got basically, okay, so quick summary. If you don't know what you can trade on in the U.S., well, first and foremost, you can come over here into CoinMarketCap and click exchanges. You can see all the ones available, and just go through them and see which ones are available for the U.S. But I can tell you on the surface, it's going to be Coinbase Pro, Kraken, Binance US, Bitrex, and Gemini, pretty much. Those are going to be all the ones that are out there. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have for you. I don't want to drag on too much with this video. If you disagree with my portfolio, totally understand. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I just, quite honestly, I don't think that right now we're at the point where it really matters that much. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think you could truly go on to Coinbase, throw $100 into whatever, and you probably do just as well as somebody percentage-wise that really put a lot of thought into it. And that it's kind of sad, to be honest, but I think we're going to see a run very similar to 2017 here in the next year or so. So I'm just making sure that I'm well positioned. I'm holding the cryptos that I'm not going to lose money on because I get stopped out on some exchange I can't get access to. And I'm also picking ones that all have money and funding behind them. So, if they have enterprises, big institutions and so on in the same room with them, and you can tell they're working together, they're probably going to see some good price action over the next few years. So, and last but not least, I wanted to show you Grayscale once again, because I think it's always a good reference point to come back to them. The people who own Grayscale, they've been in crypto as long or longer than anybody and have been to all the conferences, and they're in the back rooms with, the people that matter in the space. So to be honest, I don't think it hurts to have a similar investment portfolio as them. All right. They, the financial products and so on that come out are going to be similar to what Grayscale already has. Regulations and so on. This is a slow moving process. So getting into all the top projects that companies and investors are working on isn't a bad move. So I think if you just went down the list and had Grayscale's portfolio, you'd probably do all right too. And that, as I wanted to show you here, they have a Bitcoin Trust, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Horizon, Litecoin, Stellar Lumens, XRP, and Zcash. So as you can see, similar to stuff that I have, I don't want any Zcash personally. I don't want any Litecoin because, I think that plenty of other better options out there. Horizon and Ethereum Classic, don't care about those either. But I don't know. I think you get the picture. If you're playing around with the crypto projects and so on that are actually tied in with people that have money and investors, you probably do okay. So, all right, but that's just a brief summary on my portfolio. It probably might change here and there over time, but for instance, something that might change it is if Coinbase added another proof of stake that you can get staking rewards on their platform. I probably would just break down my Tezos and Cosmos into that as well. That's kind of the approach I'm going to take, because I think staking rewards is definitely going to be an early driver in price action. So there you have it. Hope that was interesting and informative. As always, please like and subscribe, share with your friends and family, and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks.
What is a cashless society? What does it actually mean in a literal or high-level sense?
Money will become like these, relics of a different age, and will only be found in places like this. In other words, hard cash will disappear. It will become electronic, transferred by things like these.
Then Tracy is in Beijing to show us what a nearly cashless society actually looks like. Then, good morning.
Mobile payment transactions in China reached a cumulative total of 277.4 trillion RMB in 2018, ranking #1 in the world, according to the recently released statistical report on internet development in China. As of June 2019, online payment users in the country reached 633 million. The Cashless Society is now approaching.
When's the last time you paid with cash? Well, chances are cash has taken a backseat to the plastic in your wallet and smartphone pay apps.
Denver 7's Ryan Luby explains the digital pay revolution and why not everyone is on board.
The Cashless Society. The Cashless Society.
The Cashless Society.
The Cashless Society is now approaching.
The Cashless Society.